You know, we've been spending a lot of time here, but I'm not sure I've ever even looked at what section of the library this is. The inflamed mind, waiting for first light, a cure for darkness. Huh, psychology section maybe? Books about mental health or something? Man, that could come in handy. If only I could read. Well, anyway. Should we see if there's anything more in that tablet? About who those instructions came from and who he wanted those guys to...
Kill?
Yeah.
I think I know who it was, Aya. It was my parents. That's the only thing that makes sense.
I didn't really want to say it, but yeah.
They were both medical researchers working on some experimental new treatments that they never really told me the details of. And, I mean, the fire. What if... What if it wasn't the fire that killed them? What if it was something else, and the fire was to cover it up? Just like those instructions said. But why? Why would their boss want to have them killed? What did they do? How did they threaten his research, or whatever he said? Why would it mean they had to die? I don't...
Hey! We have this tablet now. Who knows what else is on it? Maybe we can find out. Maybe we can get justice for them, if we can find enough evidence of what happened. Them and Aunt Claire.
You're right. That's all we can do now, isn't it? Just see what else is on here, and where it leads us. I think I saw another folder in here that looked promising. Oh. I guess this is probably a different one from the keychain code.
Okay, try password.
Of course, the classic.
Password 123?
Looks like there's a character limit, maybe? Password was the longest it could be. So, 8 characters at most, I guess.
Huh. Hey, that's just the right amount of letters for my name. Put in Aya Faraj without a space. Do it.
You know, not everything in the world revolves around you, Aya. It's probably going to lock us out for too many failed attempts, or... What?
Wow!
That's gotta be a coincidence, right? Like, some password generator came up with some random letters that happen to be the same as your name.
Nope. It's just proof I'm the main character of the universe, obviously. And it's my destiny to open that file.
Testing? Testing? All right, here we go. This is Dr. Louis Laurent reporting on the promising beginning of a new experiment. I think I'll call it Project ELEGIES. ELEGIES. Yes, that's the perfect name. An elegy, of course, is a type of poem, typically a lament for the dead. And if my experiments are successful, then one day society will no longer need to lament for the dead. The poets will pen the last elegies thanks to my innovation and genius. Not to mention that it's also an acronym. ELEGIES stands for Enhancement of Life Expectancy by Grasping the Intellect Through Extraction of the Soul. A bit of a mouthful, perhaps, but I couldn't resist. Today is the day that Project ELEGIES truly begins, now that my earlier successes with animals have allowed me to secure funding and approval for human experimentation. I must give partial credit to my assistant, Noelani Kalama, and of course, her cat. Without the willing participation of those two lovely creatures, my efforts could never have brought me this far. Noelani's unique abilities to observe the results of the experiments, as well as our stunning success in our favorite furry subject, have been vital to the cause. But the details of all that can be found in the project's more formal documentation, of course. The purpose of these video logs is not to merely summarize the scientific side of things, but to record my own, slightly more emotional perspective on my accomplishments moving forward. Despite my groundbreaking achievements so far, it has been quite difficult to secure funding and expanded laboratory space to move to the next step of the project. A lot of questions were asked, of course, about ethics. Hardly relevant to apply such social constructs in my work will soon reshape society itself. But we were eventually able to come to an agreement with the dean of Burton University, and the laboratories in the connected research hospital are being prepared for us as I speak. There is a necessity, unfortunately, for some level of secrecy and obfuscation, as there is with all cutting-edge scientific research. Most of the officials at the hospital are under the impression that my work surrounds the effective treatment of comatose patients. Of course, that isn't exactly the whole truth. It would be more accurate to say that I anticipate some patients may appear to be comatose as a side effect of the experimental treatment. I'm not treating the coma, I'm treating death itself. I say I, but I suppose that I should soon be saying we, as the university's very generous funding has allowed me to hire several more promising scientists to assist me. Their names for posterity. Here we are. Alongside Noelani and myself, the harbingers of a new era will be Janine Taylor, Bardot's Payne, Michael Gilbert, Julie Gilbert, and... how do I pronounce that one? Yusuf Faraj. I look forward to seeing them in action.
Zach? He said my dad's name. And Michael and Julie Gilbert, aren't they? Our parents knew each other? And they were working on some type of top secret experiment?
I don't...
Play the next one. I want to know what happened.
This is Dr. Louis Laurent reporting on... some setbacks. Minor setbacks, that is, in the progress of Project ELEGIES. As I've said before, the funding and resources provided by Burton University have left me with no shortage of test subjects. However, these subjects' reactions to the procedures that worked so well with animals have been disappointing. Far from ideal. Each of our experiments, no matter what adjustments we make, have been plagued with the same issues as the first one last month. The souls are being extracted. I know they are. I may not have the same level of psychic attunement to them as Noelani does, but even I can sense their electric presence. I can catch a glimpse. But then something goes wrong. Every time. They never stay nearly as long as the animal souls did. Noelani reports pale and ghostly figures rising from their hospital beds momentarily, with expressions of horror on their faces for scant moments before they shatter into nothingness. And we have yet to be able to wake the subjects afterwards either. They remain as comatose as they were when they started. If anything, their vital signs occasionally become concerning, and no further attempts have ever been made to extract the same soul from the same subject again afterward. I don't know what's wrong. It worked so well with the rats and the cat. I can only speculate that perhaps sentience is part of the issue. Animals may lack the self-awareness to process the fact that their souls and bodies have been separated, whereas a human subject may experience a kind of shock that interrupts the process. Perhaps we could find a way to communicate with them to warn them? But seeing as the only subjects we're permitted to test on at the moment are already comatose, that might prove difficult in its own right. If only I could find a conscious volunteer. I'd try it on myself if it weren't for the risk of potential imperfections in the process. God forbid I shatter my own mind and leave the world bereft of my genius. God. Huh. Perhaps I'd better not invoke his name. I wouldn't want to draw his attention to the great work that will soon render him irrelevant. Today is a great day for science. For today, I experienced the most stunning revelation, and all because of a chance encounter with a remarkable child. I would say she had been sent by God if I was not so certain now that he has abandoned me. Perhaps it was simply fate that brought her to me, so that I may fulfill my destiny of defying death. For now I feel certain that with the aid of the new perspective she gave me, my experiments will soon be a success. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I should tell the whole story for posterity, so those in the future who benefit from my great genius may look back on how it all began. I was looking for Noelani to have her observe something for me. But when I entered her office, she was absent. In her place was a small, dark-haired girl. She was sitting in Noelani's office chair, reading a book that looked much too large for her and swinging her feet as they did not quite touch the ground. It was a comical sight. I wondered if she might be a relative of Noelani's, so I asked her why she was there. I have her response here, on the tape recorder I keep on my person at all times. I thank my lucky stars that I had the foresight to turn it on so that the sound of that brilliant child's voice may be preserved, as well as the moment she altered my thinking forever.
I had the day off school today, but my mom and dad totally forgot and they couldn't get the babysitter because she was busy. And I couldn't go to work with my mom again because last time her boss got really mad and she didn't want to get in trouble again. Because she can't lose another job because then we might lose the house and the car, so I said I could probably stay home on my own. Because I'm not a little kid anymore, but she said I'm still too young and she would be worried about me, so my dad had to bring me out to work with him. Even though I'm not really supposed to be here, but it's okay because Noelani said I can hang out in her room. And she's really nice and she even gave me a book to read. Who are you?
My name is Dr. Laurent. I'm, one of the researchers here. I chose to downplay my importance to this enterprise so as not to intimidate the girl.
Oh, so you work with my dad? Are there a lot of people who work here? My dad never talks about his work very much. He says there's lots of stuff he's not supposed to tell anyone. But I think that's silly, because he could still tell me because I'm his daughter, and who the heck am I going to tell? No one, that's who! I'm a really good secret keeper. I know lots of stuff my dad doesn't even know. He told me not to ask questions when I came in here, but I asked Noelani some stuff anyways, because she's really nice. And I thought maybe she might tell me, but she still said it was all top secret, which isn't fair. But then she had to go to some more work, and she just told me to just sit here and read my book and behave. But now you're here, and maybe you can tell me some stuff. I promise I won't tell anyone else. I won't even tell my dad you told me. Please?
Well, I can tell you a little bit about what we do here. We're doing research to try to help people who are in comas. Do you know what a coma is?
Yeah, I saw it on TV. It's when someone gets really sick and they sleep for a really long time in the hospital and they can't wake up.
That's exactly correct. My, what a smart girl you are. Well, your father, Noelani, and I are trying to figure out new ways to take care of people when that happens.
Wow, my dad never even told me that. I wonder why he didn't. 'Cause it sounds really cool. Do you know why people go into comas then? Because I don't. I can probably guess though. Is it something to do with do their souls get unstuck from their bodies? Is that why they can't wake up? Because it's just their body lying there and their soul isn't there and it's off doing something else? That would make sense, right? Is that what you guys research?
absolutely brilliant! All my years of research, so many long and tedious hours trying to explain it in proposals for funding, and this child grasps the basic concept in an instant. She speculated. She guessed. And she understood better than anyone else I've ever spoken to. In that moment, I began to understand what must be causing the issues with the procedure. You see, my problem is that I've been wasting years of my life trying to impress this concept upon adults. Adults have firm preconceptions about how the world works already. They don't want to listen to anything that contradicts that. They're skeptical of new ideas and new technology. They've lost their imagination. The one powerful force this child displays in abundance. I theorize, therefore, that when the procedure separates the soul from the body, the patients go into a kind of shock. It's too new. It's too strange. They've never been separated from their bodies before. Perhaps they've never even believed it was possible before. And their intellect is unable to accept it. That's what's going wrong. But a child. Children are ready for new ideas and new experiences. They encounter them every day, and they have the power to envision wondrous things that adults could never dream of. I'll have to undertake some new research, modify the technology, things like that. I don't doubt it will take time to gradually convince people of the importance of this phase of the project. I'll need more funding. More recruitment of volunteers. But even if it takes another few years, what are a few years in service to the whole future of mankind? I'm confident now that I understand where I've gone wrong. Adults may be fundamentally incapable of withstanding the effects of the procedure on their conscious minds. But children, I believe that children could endure it. They would understand on a level that no one else can. And they could bridge the path to the future. I must thank that little girl one day for sparking this revelation. Perhaps an acknowledgement in a publication or two. Now, what exactly was her name? Ah, there we are. My notes from earlier. Now, for posterity, this brilliant child prodigy whose imagination inspired me was Dr. Faraj's daughter, Aya.